The question no one wants to answer. What happens to a man when the world stops looking for him? When no one calls, no one asks, and no one notices whether he's there or not? Maybe you've felt it. That heavy silence after a long day, the absence of a message, a call, a voice, the realization that if you disappeared tomorrow, the world would move on without hesitation. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Invisible threads are the strongest ties." But what happens when those threads are cut one by one until you're standing in the middle of a crowd, yet utterly unseen? This is not just loneliness. This is male loneliness, a psychological state shaped by social expectations, pride, and the silent rules men grow up with. And it's far more dangerous than you think. 1. The silent rules that trap you. From a young age, you were taught to be strong, independent, and self-reliant. That sounds admirable, but it's also a trap. Society whispers, real men don't need help. Real men handle it alone. And you believed it. But here's the paradox. Humans are social creatures. Your brain is wired for connection. When you suppress that need, you don't become stronger. You become isolated. As Carl Jung said, loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. So I'll ask you, when was the last time you truly opened up to someone? 2. The masculine mask. You laugh when you're supposed to laugh. You nod when you're supposed to agree. But deep down, there's a storm you never show. This mask keeps you safe from judgment, but it also keeps you distant from real connection. And here's the dangerous part. Over time, you might start believing that no one actually cares, that if you showed your real self, they'd walk away. So you stop trying. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We are all tied together, but some choose to untie themselves." Sometimes men untie themselves without even noticing, until they're completely adrift. 3. The spiral of isolation. Loneliness doesn't usually arrive all at once. It creeps in. First, you decline one invitation, then another. You convince yourself you're just busy. Eventually, your world shrinks to the size of your room, your phone, and your mind. The problem? The less you engage, the harder it becomes to re-engage. You lose the habit of connection. And in that silence, your mind can turn against you, feeding thoughts like, "You're forgotten. You don't matter." 4. Why male loneliness hits different. For women, loneliness is often met with empathy and support. For men, it's often met with confusion or even ridicule. When a man says, "I feel alone," the unspoken answer he hears is, "Then do something about it." But that advice ignores the emotional barriers that men carry. Ernest Hemingway once said, "The most painful thing is losing yourself in the process of loving someone too much and forgetting that you are special too." Male loneliness often comes after years of prioritizing others, family, work, relationships, until there's nothing left for themselves. 5. Breaking the pattern. Here's the uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself. That means reaching out before you feel ready. It means risking vulnerability, even if it feels unnatural. It means finding communities, groups, or even one trusted person who can break the cycle. Because here's the truth you need to remember. Loneliness is not a sign of weakness. It's a signal that your mind and body are craving connection. As Viktor Frankl wrote, life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Connection gives you meaning, and without it, even the strongest man will eventually break. The choice is yours. So I'll ask you again, What happens to a man when the world stops looking for him? The real question is, will you let that be your story? Or will you decide today to step back into the world before it's too late